witness every minute, every second, every frame, and SuperSport is sure to make a rent. Say you better chase your dream, darling, you deserve it all. Before you touch the sky, just remember you're gonna fall. And every time that happens, you get up and dust it off. If they ask you what you do, you tell them I'll play ball. Tell them I'll play ball.
Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is Thursday evening, and it is Basketball National League time. It is the Courtside edition. I'm KP. I'm here with my main men, Q and Policy. It is on and popping right here at Wembley Indoor Arena. We had this previous weekend, guys, probably some of the best games that we've seen so far in this season, particularly the 4-5-1, which was between the Soweto Panthers and the Mountaineers. What a great weekend it was.
It was a great weekend, KP. All I'm going to say is that, you know, for me, when we did the build-up for that game, we spoke about boys to men, and we got to see who the men were on the floor. It was something surreal. It was a surprising result, but at the end of the day, the better team won on the day. The Mountaineers really came through and staked their claim in the top four, and I think it makes for interesting basketball. It's changed the dynamics of the league, and it's going to make it a good playoff for us, I think.
Well, you see, I don't know if it's just me, but at some point in time, I think even when we were analyzing up there, we never mentioned the Mountaineers at all. We actually thought they were out of the playoffs. Now they're sitting in that top four spot. I know, I'm surprised. I don't know. What's your take?
You know, hey, that was just the underdog really coming through and just showing that you really can't underestimate the underdog. And the Mountaineers just have a system. Coach Daniel said that it's 3 years in the making. It's been a work in progress. He's always known that the Mountaineers are an elite team. They used week 8 to show and prove to each and every one of us that they belong in the top four.
They belong in the top four indeed, guys, and we are going to see them coming into this playoff round. Let's have a look now at some of the results that we saw in that previous weekend, which was between the Northwest Eagles and the Windbreakers. They came through, got the win over there. The Doozy Royals came out. They had a bit of a rough one against the Warriors, but they came out and got the win. That's what's important. And I'm looking at Sunday now, and we're just going to keep it in the middle. Soweto Panthers going up against the Mountaineers. Yes, the Mountaineers got that Final Four playoff spot. Now, guys, the Mountaineers were in. Let's check out some highlights from how they actually got into the playoffs. They played against the Panthers. After that, we had a chance to chat to Coach Craig Daniels as well. Let's check that out.
Have a look at the stat sheet. A key stat is the rebounds. You see the Panthers, they were on the boards. They had second chance opportunities. They just weren't able to capitalize. The amount of turnovers they had on the day, those 31 turnovers, key for the Panthers. The Mountaineers did a good job shooting the ball, 5 of 19, and they were 50% on the inside. They also got to the line 37 times.
Guys are just, you know, the satisfaction of putting in a good effort. Our purpose is, it sounds corny, but our purpose is never to win. You know, we want to play to the best of our ability. And the challenge is always to the guys, when you walk off the court and you sit in the dressing room afterwards, you must feel as if you spent everything on the court. A few weeks ago, we were written out of the playoffs. We were told we're not going to be in the playoffs. So, you know, that just strengthened the resolve of the players. And every game became a final for us. So, you know, if you win 2, 3 finals in a row, you just start feeling really good about what you're doing. So the team morale, the spirit, the confidence has really just grown game by game. With all due respect to the teams involved, they are all great teams. They are great teams who missed out on the playoffs. But I'd say if we were to get Doozy again, because we had beaten them, it's difficult to come back and beat them again, because now they expect a bit more of what we can do. So I'd say Doozy might be a challenge for us.
Coach Craig, guys, definitely a stalwart in this game, a very seasoned coach, and he came out and did the business, did the thing, as I think my boy would say over here, and, you know, surprised everyone. They got the win.
Well, Coach Craig, I just got to say this. He believed in his team from the beginning. I had to interrupt my man there. He believed in his team from the beginning. He absolutely outcoached Coach Billen on the day. I can't believe that the Panthers folded like that under pressure. It was surprising to me because they have guards that can carry against that full court pressure, but they really struggled on the day. Those turnovers, 31 turnovers, were key on the day, and it really was surprising to see what happened to them.
What the coach said to me, the first thing he said, which is something that I know that we kept on talking about, I kept on stressing it, he said, look, we don't have a point guard. Our current point guard should be playing at the 2 spot, and we don't have a point guard. But you can't blame him for it either. but what else can we do?
Well, KP, that's something that I've been talking about throughout the season, lack of depth for the Soweto Panthers. They have all the big guys, and all the big guys can do all the right things on the floor, but at the point guard position, man, they do lack depth. They do lack the depth. I like Slepe playing off the ball. You know, it gives him a lot more preparation, and he can shoot the shots that he likes to shoot. He can let the offense really come to him. But at the one, they're suffering. And another thing is they have 3-year players, 2-year players who just aren't showing any improvement at all. You know, I'm thinking if you haven't improved in 3 years, man, it's about time you move out the way and give other kids a chance to play. But Mudiechinyane really struggling as a backup PG.
Guys, and we definitely can't include Reece Prinsloo in that discussion. I mean, they had a terrible game. Unfortunately, they lost. But even in that final game, Prinsloo, 14 points, 18 boards. You know, if there's one person who I think deserves the most improved player in the BNL, it would definitely be him.
Absolutely, Reece Prinsloo has been good for them all season. We've called him the engine of the team. He's played well all season. I think if there were awards, he'd probably get most improved player in the league. And Reece Prinsloo, part of the reason that the Panthers were able to get to that position in the first place.
Thank you very much. Quinton, Reece Prinsloo, we love you, man. Let's check out the next highlights, which is going to be between the Doozy Royals going up against the Warriors. Let's check that out.
The Doozy Royals started this game out with a depleted roster. 4 of their senior players not available on the day, but they still came through to the game with intent to win. The Warriors would prove determined opposition on the day, and it started out well for the Warriors. They were competitive in the first quarter, a 22-14 lead for the Doozy Royals. They were led by the play of Dumisani Gebashe. He had 20 points on the day. Kagiso Nkojana, 25 points. And so in the absence of those senior players, we really expected players like Gebashe to step up on the day.
What Lutando Mpano as well got things going for the Free State Warriors is the starting point guard, gives them a lot of production on the floor, but is prone to turnovers. But Kagiso Nkojana, a double-double in this game, had a big game, Chief, and really anchored the middle for the Doozy Royals. Yao Sitole as well came in, scored in double figures, and really gave the Doozy Royals the production that they needed on the floor. But the one thing that the Royals really did wrong was the fact that they allowed the Warriors to stay in the game, and the game really got away from the Warriors in the fourth quarter. Yao Sitole started getting going, hitting big shots, hitting the big threes, and you see Stanga Kumalo feeding Thabo Sitole in the corner, and another 3 from the Sitole brother, and the Doozy Royals pick up a win.
And again, we have a look at the full-time stats for the Royals versus the Warriors. The Royals struggle from the perimeter once again. They are 5 of 21. They shared the ball reasonably well, only 9 assists on the day. One thing Coach Katalai can be happy about is that they limited the amount of turnovers. They only had 10 turnovers. And if there's something positive that Coach Katalai can take, is that control of the ball.
We're trying really to keep our head above the water right now. It's been a very tough journey, and we are definitely confident that we'll pull through. The one thing I believe in is it's very difficult to coach mentality or character and stuff, but if you put the right thing on the table and then you get the players to buy in, you won't struggle. But the one key thing that jumps out of this, I'm not an offensive guy. I know I'm going to score. If I want to, I'm going to score. At my age, if I pick up the ball, I will try, I'm going to score, I know. But can we defend as a team?
That's what Coach Katalai had to say then. Very interesting words from him, guys. I got the sense from that interview that I think he's now aware that his team is not necessarily, they're looking like, they're not looking like the champions, I guess, that everyone thought they would be at the beginning of the season. That's the sense I got from the interview.
Well, KP, if we're looking at form, remember, the one thing that we've learned this season is that teams on paper don't count. Now it's the knockout stages of the game, and I think you and I can play bare testament to that, maybe Mko as well, in the fact that the best team on the day wins. And so it really doesn't matter what the form is on the day. It doesn't matter if the Royals have had a really terrible season. What happens on that day, if it all clicks, if the offense works, suddenly you're changing the tune of what you're saying about them. And that can happen for the Suns, can happen for any one of those top 4 teams.
Policy, I want to ask you something, man. The previous 2 seasons, we've had teams going into the finals without a loss. The Doozy Royals did the same thing last season. Is it possible that the struggles that they've had up to this point might help them come playoff time, because now they're kind of that, the sleeper, you know what I mean? Everyone thinks that they're not going to do it, but if they turn it on now, you know, they could go all the way.
What I really like about everyone's experience in the BNL is that I hope that we all learn from the past. We all learn from the mistakes. The Royals come from that past. They know what it's like to go through winning and then dropping a game when it counts the most. So I hope that they have learned from that. Coach Katalai will definitely have to work hard in order to manage his players. But one thing that the Royals have to do right in the game, when you say that the best team wins on the day, his rotations on the floor and how he manages his minutes between Chief, Fumani, as well as Ngobeni as the out-of-province players, they will prove key for the win. For the Royals to win in the playoffs. In the 2 games that the Royals lost, he mismanaged the minutes, and that hurt the Royals.
It's going to be interesting indeed to see how the Dusi Royals come through and fare in this playoff. I know that the Loyals will definitely be behind them. Stay with us, though. We'll be right back after the break.
If they ask you what you do, you tell them I play ball. If they ask you what you do, you tell them I play ball.
Welcome back, everybody. BNL Courtside, Kpq Policy out here. Guys, we're talking basketball, we're talking playoffs, and if we're going to be talking playoffs, we need to be talking defending champions, the Tshwane Suns.
We have to talk Tshwane Suns. They are the defending champions. They lead from the defensive end. And if we're going to talk Tshwane Suns, we have to talk player omissions. We really have to look at the occurrences in the past week and the omission of Alan Denga and what that means for them going forward.
Okay, we'll get into Alan Denga, you know, in a bit of a second, but going into the playoffs now, the Tshwane Suns in the previous 2 seasons, I think, have slipped on their opponents and gotten those championships because people just didn't believe that they had the talent to get them there. It's not quite the case this season. Everybody knows Tshwane Suns can play ball.
Well, everyone knows that the Tshwane Suns can play ball. They know that their defense first sets up the offense, so teams are going to have to match them toe-to-toe when it comes to the defense. You know, close out their shooters. Don't allow their point guards to penetrate the offense. And then, of course, you've got to crash the boards. But then they have a formidable front court. Gideon Mulamba, Mlungisi Shongwe, Larry Jackson Jr., they handle everything on the front court. They can crash the boards. And I would think that if the key really to breaking down the Suns is if you target their backcourt shooters, Dumisani Moyo, Tsepo Mati, get them out of the game, try to get unsettled Titch, but then also Neo Motiba is prone to cheap, easy fouls, so target him.
Yeah, so I hear that, but I want to tell you, I agree with what you're saying. Opponents understand what the Suns are doing now. Coach McKenna said it. That's the first time they've given up 75 points in a game against the Royals, and that's key.
Very key indeed, guys. The Tshwane Suns ended up their campaign playing against the Zebras. Let's check out those highlights.
And the Tshwane Suns, in a game that they were expected to win, came out hard. The windbreakers were their previous opponents, and this time it was the Zebras. Tsepo Mati hitting it from the perimeter. And the play of Neo Motiba, absolutely key once again. Neo Motiba has 24 points. He had 5 rebounds and 9 steals on the day. You know, the Tshwane Suns really set the defensive tone. They gave up 10 points early. Chokochela on the outside in 2 consecutive threes, and once Coach George McKenna made the changes on the floor, it was Tshwane Suns defense trademark as per usual. Motiba gets out on the open floor with the left hand and the pretty finish.
Well, Motiba really picking up from the win against the Windbreakers, where he dunked on the break on Lungisa Kola, but this time finishing down on the floor with the left-handed bunk. Somusam Tembu had a breakout game, really had 6 or 7 dunks in this game, was really in form all the way down the floor. You see him right there on that play, receiving the pass and just an easy one-handed flush for Somusam Tembu. You've got to love his development over the past 2 years, and this year he's really come into his own, averaging 2.5 blocks per game, and that says a lot about his defense. The young guys also got involved in the offense for the Tshwane Suns, but Somusam Tembu, once again, the alley-oop, a recipient of that pass from Titch Mabiza. Just an all-round performance from all the Tshwane Suns. Larry Jackson Jr., the two-handed exclamation point, and at that point right there, the game was out of reach for the Zebras. A nightmare on L Street continues.
A nightmare on L Street indeed, especially when you read the stats, and those 46 turnovers from the Zebras, really not a great turnout for them. 27 assists from the Tshwane Suns. They do a good job sharing the ball, making the extra pass. They still struggle from the perimeter. 33 shots from the three-point line, maybe a little bit too much from the Suns.
See, I've been part of this team for the past 3 years. I haven't made any significant change. The players have been together and they playing together, they gelling together. The only thing that can derail us probably would be injuries. But as it is now, we are injury-free. Most of the guys have recovered from major injuries, so we're looking forward to the knockout stages. We know when it matters the most. We cannot be complacent. These are the semi-finals. If we dropped our guards, we will regret. We don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we are unable, to execute properly because we did not have adequate time to prepare, for our opposition. We know it is important. One game at a time. Whoever comes in the semi-finals will be fully prepared, and I'm confident with the style that we're playing and the defense, we'll be able to get the results.
Coach McKenna, definitely one of the most seasoned coaches that we have in this league. And don't forget, he is the coach of the national team. Great conversation that we managed to have with him. But the one major point that we left out in that discussion was that of Alan Denga, guys. Alan Denga will not be playing for the Tshwane Suns for the rest of the season. It's a big blow for them. It's a big blow for the entire team, even for the BNL franchise, to be quite honest. Word on the streets is that Alan Denga, his ID documents did not check out, and right now he has been deported. He is back in the DRC. It's a big blow for the Tshwane Suns, guys.
It's a huge blow for our game. Again, if you got here fraudulently, then it is a problem. You've got to adhere to the rules, and we've got to enforce the rules. You can't just allow any Dick, Tom, and Harry to come and play in the game. But Denga has been a big part of our league for the past 2 years. He's got an identity. We understand how he plays. He's got a couple of fans in the stands, and he has a following. So to lose him is devastating. 1 for the Suns, 2 for the franchise, and also 3 for the league, because it's nice to have faces that you can attach, personalities that you attach, but him being here fraudulently, that's a problem.
What do you see?
Coach McKenna is going to make the right adjustments going into the semi-finals, so he's going to know who to call into the starting lineup. But the talent and the skill of Denga is very difficult to replicate. He's got an unorthodox game. He can space the floor because he can shoot that the shot from outside. He drives in, and that layup of his, I don't know whether it's a layup or a running sky hook, but no one can block that shot. Unguardable. He can play out in the open court as well. It really makes it difficult for someone from the Suns is going to have to step up, and I hope they're ready for the challenge.
A team that's definitely going to be ready for the challenge, Egoli Magic. They are sitting very pretty right now, guys, in first position. They ended off their campaign against the Pride. The Pride were playing without Christian. It was going to be difficult for them from tip-off. Let's check out the highlights.
Christian Kabasele absent on the day, and the Egoli Magic, they were just running on all cylinders from go. Jonathan van der Bijl, he will be absolutely key for them in the playoffs. That front court of the Egoli Magic, they play on all cylinders, and this is one of the most improved players in the league. Certainly a young prospect. Miguel Ferrao, another MVP performance on the day. He had 24 points, 6 rebounds. He was 3 of 4 from the perimeter, and that's a two-handed hammer. 7 of 11 from the field, shooting it at 63%.
Well, it was just a great showing, really, by the Egoli Magic, and everyone really stepping up for the Egoli Magic in that game. Miguel Ferrao from outside, the jab step, but that's the potency of Miguel Ferrao, spacing the floor by hitting the open 3, and Jerry Manyubele, hey, you send me swinging on the two-hand dunk on the break.
17 big points for Jerry Manyubele, and his play has improved dramatically for the Pride. I think he needs a bigger supporting cast going into 2016, and the Pride will actually be legitimate contenders. And Miguel Ferrao, I think he's just staking his claim as one of the big young players in the league. I think more franchises will be vying for his services after this outstanding introductory season for him at the Magic. One thing that has been done well is Coach Flosh is not shy to give him a lot of time. It was an exclamation mark performance by the Egoli Magic, and a good all-round performance, capping off a good season for them all in all. And we have a look at the stats at the end, at full time of that game. The Egoli Magic sharing the ball a little less, and I think it's because of the style of play they had. For only 14 assists, they turned the ball over 17 times, 3 of 10 from the perimeter. You got to like the fact that they control the amount of shots they take from the outside, and I think that's something that's improved in their play dramatically.
I think there's definitely a lot of excitement going on. you know, a lot of people doubted us going into the season and doing a complete revamp of the Egoli Magic. I mean, they brought in a completely new coaching staff. We got rid of a lot of the guys that were there last year, and we just brought in a nice mix of young and old. So, you know, we're very excited about the season. I think we've done really, really well. And our rookies are kind of getting into their own now. I think for us now, it's really focusing on ourselves. You know, that whoever it is we play in the finals, you know, whether it's Tshwane Suns or it's Duzi Royals or it's whoever comes, you know, claims that fourth spot between Mountaineers and Panthers, it doesn't matter for us. You know, we just really want to focus on what we're doing and making sure we're doing the right things going into that competition, that we can take on anybody. You know, I think it was a tough loss for us against Suns. We really didn't play our own game. But it was a good loss for us in the sense that we had an opportunity to learn and a chance to overcome. You know, that's the tough thing going in undefeated, right? Is you haven't had the opportunity to truly overcome. And that's one of the exciting things this year, to show that every team has had a loss. You know, every team's had at least one loss. So every team's had the opportunity to overcome and to fix their mistakes. I think it's a brilliant thing.
They shot 8 of 32 rather, if I recall correctly, in that game. High volume of threes. You see that a team like the Egoli Magic, you know, barring that game that they lost though,
sure.
where Salvador shot 14 threes, you know, they've done a pretty good job of taking care of the ball, taking the right shots. Enough of that other stuff, guys. Let's go into where it matters, the top 5 plays of the week. You know how we do out here. You want to see this, the top 5 plays, run them through.
At number 5, LJ, skies for the Tshwane Suns. The sun is shining on the floor, and in transition, not too many guys will stop that man as he makes his way to the room. And Mongale underneath that thunderous jam by LJ.
Well, LJ really doing what he's been doing best for the season, finishing on the open floor. And at number 4, Neo Mochiba breaking off Butlale Sebake and the one-handed flush with the left hand too. You've got to love that finish by the captain. Not one to always finish with such authority, but in that instance right there, really just showing who he is.
And this was a dunk fest for Somusa Mtembo. Maybe a little bit of a weak dunk in number 3, but the lovely feed from Mabiza, they feed Somusa Mtembo under the rim, and he does exactly what's expected in here. They had like 5 dunks in the game for the Suns, and Somusa Mtembo steadily improving, gets number 3.
And at number 2, one of my favorite players, Khotso Mahlwane of the Free State Warriors, with the swat erasing the shot of Yao Sithole. A young gunner for this team, still a young player, but has been immense for them in the low block, has played the 4 position with a lot of aplomb. You've got to love Khotso Mahlwane.
And this is a great way to close out the season. Jerry dunks out on the fast break. Air Jerry lifts off for the Limpopo Pride. Air Jerry with the exclamation mark for what caps off a tough season for the Pride, but it's a great season for the BNL. Air Jerry takes off.
And confirming the fixtures, guys, this is the semi-final matchups right here. Egoli Magic goes up against the Duzi Royals. That is our first semi-final game. That is followed by the Tshwane Suns going up against the Mountaineers. That is on Saturday, the 29th, right here at Wembley Indoor Arena. You do not want to miss that one. If last season's semi-finals are anything to go by, it is going to be a cracker, and this place is going to be going crazy. Guys, final thoughts.
Hey, it's playoff time now. This is the business end of the season. Like you said, coaches, players, they've all got to bring their A game on the day, and I really can't wait to call these games. I think it's going to be something spectacular.
Talk to me, please.
Well, the real season starts now. You know, it's only but maybe 4 games, but hey, we're all looking forward to it. I just love the atmosphere, man. You know, we all feed off the atmosphere here. Even the teams and the players feed off the atmosphere. Everyone just gets into the groove that, hey, these are big games. And I think right now we don't have an outright winner. We have an emboldened Western Cape Mountaineers team going up against the defending champions. They lost in the regular season. The Duzi Royals lost in the regular season to the Egoli Magic, but right now the gate is wide open. It's anybody's. It's the championship is for anybody.
That was going to be my next question. I wanted to put you guys on the spot. Who have you got winning the championship?
Woo, that's a tough one. The thing is, it's so difficult to call, and because I'm such a sportsman, okay, let's do this quickly. I'm going to call it.
Give me a name.
I'm going to give it the Royals.
The Royals. My man. Give me a name.
Well, it's really, really tough. I'd like to go with the Magic, I'd really like to go with the Magic. They have an intelligent coach, a coach with experience. He'll make the right adjustments. I really have the Magic really coming out tops. But Lesego Malbatsi needs to put me out of my misery.
Well, maybe the Suns.
Maybe the Suns. All right. Well, I'll put myself on the spot. I'm going to go with a goalie. I think I'm going to go with a goalie. I think a goalie's got the right pieces.
KP,
Let's see.
What's ringing at the back of my head, though? At the back of my head, though, never underestimate the heart of a champion. Well. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for us, rather. BNL Courtside. Next time you'll be seeing us will be on the 29th of August. Guys, you want to come through and check that out. That's the semi-finals of the Basketball National League. It is going to be on and popping. We're going to be out of here. Basketball never sleeps. Basketball never stops. But we got to go.
To witness every minute, every second, every frame, and SuperSport is sure to make a race. So you better chase your dream, Donna, you deserve it all. Before you touch the sky, just remember you're gonna fall. And every time that happens, you get up and dust it off. If they ask you what you